Hi, it's Alex here. Now in this video I'm going to discuss if locksmithing makes a good side gig. So if you don't know me already, I'm Alex Welsh and I run a company called Locksmithing Secrets. So I help people start and grow a successful locksmith business from home on a small budget. So let's get into this. So maybe you're in a full-time job at the moment and you're looking for a side gig, a side hustle, or maybe just even like a business that you can start on the side to supplement your income, and you're thinking that locksmithing could be a good option. You've probably heard that you can make really good money as a locksmith because let's say just one call out, you could earn up to say $80 or $100. And maybe even if it's at night time, so maybe you're working a full-time job and you're thinking of working nights, you could earn even more money. You can pretty much charge what you want when you're doing out of hours calls, because not a lot of locksmiths, believe it or not, will even answer the call. So they'll put 24 hours on their website, but they won't actually offer that service. They'll just be fast asleep when the phone rings. So you could take advantage of that in your area and start doing those calls. So let's discuss how you would get started building a locksmith business on the side around your current commitments. So let's say you've got a job and you'll probably, the first thing you'll think of is, right, I need to get the training, I need to learn how to become a locksmith. Now I would put that bit off for the moment. The first thing I would do if I was starting out in your shoes and I was looking for a side gig and I chose locksmithing, I would build a website. So that's the very first thing you should do, because you need a way to generate calls. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I don't want to start a website because I'm not ready to take those calls. But that's a big mistake. That's not a good way to think, because there's no point of getting yourself trained up and then you're not generating any calls. And people worry that like the phone's going to ring the next day after you build a website, but that's not the case. You know, it takes a long time for Google to start ranking your website. So in that time that your website's starting to rank, you can get the training in, and then once you start getting those calls, you can hit the ground running. So it really makes sense to do that from day one. So what you can do, you can set up a generic website. It doesn't have to have your name on it. It could be, you know, let's say you live in Florida, for example. It could be literally, the domain could be Locksmith Florida, and that way you don't have your name on it. You know, maybe you're worried about a conflict of interest with your boss. You don't want your boss to know that you're starting a side hustle. Don't worry, just keep the website generic. Doesn't have to have your name and face all over it. It could just be literally Locksmith and your area, and then start getting that ranking. Now I recommend WordPress to get your website built, and you can run the hosting and the domain for really cheap, for as little as 10 bucks a month. So that would be the first thing I do. And then just learn some SEO. So just in your spare time, you could be building your website in the background. You know, while you got your full-time job, you could even outsource the website part if you don't like that. We could definitely help with that. We specialize in building locksmith websites. So that could be the first step. The second step is to get some training. Now it depends what route you want to go. So domestic locksmithing there's more competition. So that's like residential. So if someone loses the keys to their house, or they lock the keys inside the house, you come along and get them back in. So that's the standard locksmith model. But the problem with that is, because it is quite an attractive business model, a lot of people are jumping on that. So if I were to give you any advice, it would be get into automotive locksmithing. So the reason for this is because there's a lot less competition and you can earn a lot more money doing that because it's more specialist. You will need more investment for the equipment. So maybe if you're looking for a side hustle that doesn't require much capital up front, maybe auto's not the way to go. You could just start off with domestic. But one good way to get into the auto side without investing loads of money, because you will need key programmers and key cutting machines. So one good way would be to just offer car openings. So you could buy lishy picks, and with these special lishy picks, you could go out on your website, just say you offer a car opening service, and you could just go out in your spare time and start doing that. So let's address some issues you might face. So you might be thinking, you know, if I'm working this full-time job, how am I going to service these calls while I'm working? So one way to do this is to have like a call diverter. So there's loads of companies that offer, it's like a virtual, if you just Google virtual phone numbers, you'll find a lot of companies that offer, like, they'll put a virtual number on your website, and then this number can be diverted at any time. So let's say someone calls your business, you're at work at that time, so you just flip it across to divert. Now this call then diverts to another locksmith in your area, and you take a commission. So it could just be a side gig without you even working if you manage to get this website ranking. And if you've got experience with building websites, you could just build loads of these sites. That will also make an awesome side gig, just subcontracting all of the work out, and you don't have to work. But if you're keen to actually start to become a locksmith, this could be a great way to do that. So you can either divert the call, or you simply don't answer it, because when people are looking for a locksmith, they'll try to call someone. If you don't answer, they'll just call the next person. It's not the end of the world. I miss a lot of calls in my business. We're generating so many calls in our business, we can't physically answer them all. So that could be one way, is you could divert it out. There's also a service which is like an affiliate program, where you could actually sell those leads to like an affiliate model program, where they actually then sell that lead to another local locksmith. Or you could just make friends with a local locksmith in your area and simply divert your calls to them when you're not ready to do the call. But the plan with this, really, because locksmithing is a great business, it's really exciting. Every day is different. I've been doing this 20 years, and you really will start to love it, especially when you pick your first lock. On your first job you go to, you'll pick the lock and you'll become addicted to it. It's literally, you'll get a real buzz from doing it. So maybe the long-term goal is you could leave your current job and then do the locksmithing full time, because you might fall in love with it. For me, it's an awesome business model, because I literally work from the back of my van, choose my own hours, earn really good money, especially on the auto side. Because with the auto locksmithing, if someone loses all of their keys to their vehicle, you can charge up to $300 per key to replace the key. Obviously, I'm from the United Kingdom, so that's obviously less. It's like 250, something like that, 220. But you get the idea. It's very lucrative once you've got yourself set up. So where would you go and get training? So obviously there's in-person courses. Now, problem with them is you will have to take time out of work. You'll have to book into hotels, you know, because the training center might be miles away from where you are. So you'll have to take time out of the work. They are expensive as well. So you can learn online. YouTube is a great place to start. There's no reason why you can't start learning how to pick locks on YouTube. There's plenty of information out there. Check out my channel. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe. But there's also online training courses, which can also really fast track your learning curve. So in the link in the description, there is a link to my course, which, you know, you can click it if you want. I don't mind if you do. But that's going to give you some more information on how to get started as well. So that's it from me, and I hope you found this video interesting. Maybe you're thinking now is a good time to pursue locksmithing as a side gig, or maybe a full-time career. You'll never know. So like I said, once you pick that first lock, you will become addicted to this. So that's it from me. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Like the video, and I'll see you again next time.